Okay, today's video will be about using the Amiga emulator on the Raspberry Pi 4 with Retropie. So let's start. So I'm assuming that you already have your Raspberry Pi 4 or Raspberry Pi 3 or whatever set up. So with that being done, and your Raspberry Pi is also connected to your network and it's got Retropie on it and everything. If you haven't done that, I have a tutorial video about that, which you could see on the top right corner. So let's begin. So to get into Retropie, you just press that in Retropie. Mine is connected to the network and everything. And you have to put the BIOS in for the Amiga emulator. You have to put a Kickstart ROM in there. And the emulator that I'm going to be using for Retropie is called Amiberry. I think that's the default emulator for Retropie. And here are the instructions for it. The files that you have to use are in this format. Copy and paste that. Okay, it has to be in this format and it has to go into the BIOS folder. And you have other emulators here like LRPUAE. You have UAE for all too. That's another emulator, and as you can see, the formats are different for those emulators. But for LRPUAE, it's the same as Amiberry, as you can see. And for UAE for ARM, the formats are different as well. It's actually similar to UAE for all too, as you can see. So that's the format you have to have it in there. So let's start. So I'm in the BIOS folder. I already put my BIOS files in there. So I need Kickstart 33180. .A500. I put that in there already. And Kicks 34005. 34005. I put that in there as well. And Kick 40068. And that's for the Amiga 1200. You have to actually buy these ROMs, and I'll leave a link for that in the video description below where you can buy the ROMs. These ROMs are not free, you have to buy them. So with that said, I have not installed, well, I have installed the Amiga emulator on my Retropie on my Raspberry Pi 4. However, when you install Retropie on your Raspberry Pi, it's not going to have this Amiga option on there, so you have to install it, and I'm going to show you how to do that next. Okay, now I'm on my Retropie, my Raspberry Pi 4 single board computer. What you have to do here is you need to go to Retropie. You need to go to Retropie Setup. You need to go to Manage Packages. Go to Main. I'm sorry, it's not main. I think it's optional, manage optional packages, so OPT. Okay. And as you can see, I have Amiberry installed on my Retropie. It says it's installed. Go here. So I installed it from source, so make sure you install it from source and then just click OK. I already installed mine. This may take maybe anywhere from 5 to 15 minutes, and just leave your Raspberry Pi on. Don't turn it off or anything when it's doing its thing. That's it. So after it installs, you just get out of here. And after you finish, press start and then just restart your Raspberry Pi. And after you do that, you will see the Amiga icon. Even if there aren't any ROMs in there. Get that into focus. Okay, as you can see, the Amiga icon is on there, and before it wasn't on there. So let me go back to my computer and put in some ROMs in here. Okay, now I'm back on my computer, and I'm going to go here. And I'm going to go... Actually, I'm going to go back to Retropie. And this time I'm going to go to ROMs. And you're going to see Amiga. I already put some games in there already. I'll just put some more in there. Okay, I'll put Cabal in there. Okay, that looks good. And let me go back to my okay, now I'm back to my Raspberry Pi. And what you have to do now is you need to restart your Raspberry Pi to get all the ROMs or games to list on the Amiga menu. So it's advisable that you hook up a mouse and a keyboard to your Raspberry Pi, which I have done. So I'm going to go to the Amiga and run a few games. Okay. And since I put the correct ROMs in there, this thing should run. I'm just going to left click with the mouse. And you could press F12 and you can get to this menu right here and make some tweak this thing a little bit. Let's see. So right now I'm using the Amiga 500. I could use the Amiga 1200 if I want with 2 megabytes. This one has 512 megabytes. I want to go to floppy. You could set it to turbo. You could set it up to 800 if you want, but I like turbo. This loads it pretty quickly. And you could change other stuff in here like the display settings, the sound, the input, everything else. Let's see, RAM, ROM. And let me go to floppy. You can enable floppy disk 2 if you want. Actually, for computers it starts with 0, 1, 2, that would be 3, and 3 would be 4. So I could enable that if I want, and I could put a disk in there if I want. Just go here, go here. I think it's home, it's Pi, it's Retropie, it's ROMs. I'd go to Amiga, and I could put, if this was a game that had more than one floppy disk, I could put several in here if I want, just like that. But I'm gonna eject it because I don't really want it right now. So I could enable all that. Make sure you save it. And I'm gonna resume it and start running it. I'm just going to run a couple of games, and that's it. So this game works. This is Commando for the Amiga 500. Okay, that's enough. Let me get out of here. To get out of here, you can press the hotkey and the hotkey and I think that's triangle, or you could press F12 to get here, just like that. And I could just quit. I don't know if you could see that or not. Okay, let me see, quit. That will get me out of here, just like that. Let me run another. Okay, now I'll run a game. I'm gonna run It Came from the Desert. Before it starts, I do want to configure it. I'm going to press F12. I want to use the Amiga 1200. Set it to that configuration. Load that. So this, having 2 disk drives enabled, automatically sets disk 2. So drive 2 sets it to disk 2. And I want to enable drive 3 because I want it to enable disk 3 and have all the disks load at one time. And I want to change the floppy disk emulation to turbo. And then I want to press restart. I want to run it in that configuration. No. Okay. Let's see. Amiga 1200. Amiga 1200. Now I'm going to start it. Let me see if the floppy disk settings are correct. I wanted it at turbo. So this is a multi-disc game. I want to change the screen setting a little bit. Go to display, full screen. Let's increase the resolution to that, 1024 by 768. That looks bad. What I had before was better. That's better. Okay, the game's running. Alright, this game runs pretty good. So let me get out of here. F12 and quit. Go back. I want to play around with screen settings a little bit. Windowed. Okay, better. So I had to go to horizontal and vertical centered. I could see everything. This runs pretty good, actually. Yeah, this definitely runs pretty good. Really surprised. Runs better than on the PC. Okay, that runs pretty good. So let me get out of here. At 12, you can press the special key and select or something to get out. Just like that. That's it. Yeah, so that's how you run the Amiga emulator on the Raspberry Pi. So I will be making more tutorials on this. So anyways, thanks for watching.